first one. Science versus art. Can you tell the difference? Let me give you an example. Let me put it into a context. Think of your greatest sports hero, okay? Now, I don't follow hockey, and I know to the Canadians in this room, I've just done something sacrilegious. I don't follow hockey, but one of the greatest players known to mankind is Wayne Gretzky. 19 NHL records. Do you think at the apex of his career, he was trying to figure out how to skate? My point is this. Science is the steps that managers take. It's the process. It's the procedures. Art, on the other hand, is what Wayne Gretzky excelled in because he was able to do triple sow cows and make goals where no one even thought they were possible. He took the science of knowing his art, or his job, and then applied his art to it. Here's how I want to apply it with you as managers. Know the job so well that it allows you to elevate that leadership part in you. Here's my comments. If you were in my last session, we're going to have a couple points for you to take away. First of all, we know what we do, we just don't do it sometimes. We let other things get in the way. The next one, process is science, people are the art. This was summed up beautifully by a store manager in St. John's, Newfoundland. I said, what's the difference between managing and leading? And she said this, management is what you say. Leadership is how you say it. That's a very powerful statement because it really differentiates what a manager does, which is compliance, policy. It's about a short-term view. Leaders inspire. They do things outside the box. So that's a difference there. And also learn the science and then let the art shine. For those of you that raised your hand as newer managers, your art will come. I know it will. You just got to get through the science part now. Next one is intuition. This is also how many of you just had that gut feeling? You knew it was the right thing to do. You ever had that? I know a lot of managers that won't trust their gut. Why? Why do you think that is? What would stop someone from trusting their gut? Say that again, please. Inexperience, for sure. Lack of confidence. How about this? Fear of rejection or fear that it's the wrong decision. Well, here's the thing. Trust your gut. Another one, be wary of analysis paralysis. I see this often where a manager will go into this analysis mode and they'll never get to a decision. Have you ever heard this saying, Operation CYA? That keeps us from making decisions. It's okay to make a mistake. I'm going to talk about it in a second. When in doubt, look to another. Here's something that I would say, as a manager, develop a peer network. Find someone in your area, even if they don't work with you or for the same company, encourage getting to know someone else that does a very similar job. And if you have an idea that you're bouncing off of your head or there's an issue, call them. Why not? What's the worst thing that can happen? Someone's going to save you from making a bad decision. Oh my gosh, that's terrible. Okay, can you say this one? It sounds dirty. Epistemology. It's another word for product knowledge or word knowledge. What I want to do there is I know a lot of managers who are excellent at product knowledge and operations, but they're not very good at that people skill part. So your decision making from this perspective is know your job, know the science. And one of my favorites is if you don't measure it, you can't manage it. If you're not tracking performance in some way, even the stuff that doesn't seem obvious, you can't manage that or lead it. And I love this because this is an opposite of what I've just said about epistemology is product knowledge. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Anyone know who said that? No. Good guess. Einstein. Albert Einstein said that. And sometimes knowledge can get in our way, and we need to think outside the old proverbial box. By the way, if you own an organization or you're a general manager, how much do you encourage this? We're going to talk about this in a big way tomorrow, about the collaborative effort that is needed in business today, even at the retail store level, even though it doesn't seem to make sense. People need to feel as though they can problem solve and be creative thinkers, especially your Gen Yers, because that's how they're wired. It depends. This is a link to my first book called What If? Life is not scripted. Sorry. If anyone thinks that there's going to be a script when you wake up and it's going to be, I'm going to get this many sales and everyone's going to show up to work on time and I'm not going to have any customer complaints. Does that script exist? So, context is everything, which is linked to the second one, which is ask questions. And I love this one, acknowledge and then do something. That's called being improvisational on the fly. Okay, the last one, because I have about 10 minutes, is the infamous mistake. How many of you have ever made a mistake? Thanks for raising your hand really, really high. How about this? This is the most important time to learn. Kind of touchy-feely, but I'm in that mood right now. Got my Barry White going on because I got my deep voice. How about this one? Own your decision. If you make a mistake, own it. I know some managers that won't. They like to deflect as much as possible. And then the last is a form of a question, although there's not a question mark there, is what's missing? What's causing the mistakes? Maybe you're not trained in an area and you made a mistake because you didn't have the information, you didn't have the training, you didn't have the knowledge, you didn't have the team. How about this? You were short-staffed. So what's missing is maybe you need to add a couple bodies to the store, and that would have helped you from not making that mistake. But again, it's the decision-making process, is sometimes it's okay to make a mistake. So you are here, so now what? All right, I'm going to show you your three takeaways. And I want to be brief because I know that door is so close to being open. Number one, is your job clarified? As managers, if you can't get to the art if you don't have the science. So go back and ask questions. Am I fully trained? Do I realize that I know everything I need to know about my job? What may be missing in my career path? And then these are the 4 questions that I do in all of my training sessions. Whenever I have learners in the room, I always ask them to be able to answer these 4 questions in the mind of their team. So if you ever want to implement anything in your store, make sure your team knows what, why, how, and to what extent. That will repeat. Now I'm going to show you a video